Welcome to CBT News. After 7 months and tense media pressure, Horizon executives finally authorized the first outside glance at the first ever completed Schism drone set to launch its journey into the mining sector today in order to support ongoing operations. So far, Horizon has not made a statement disclosing why a military-grade drone capable of carrying heavy weaponry is beneficial for mining operations. Horizon spokespeople reiterate any concerns are unfounded and highlight that Horizon's only company vision is to ensure prosperity here on Earth. CBT News reached out to Horizon to gain clarity about quantities of minerals supposedly brought back to Earth, but so far we have received no answer.
Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load.
But I wanted it to happen. So I started cooking.
Goddamn right.
And the Sweatfest was officially on. I knew I wanted to make a space game, so I started to model a first spaceship and started with basic movement.
Now I'm going to save the project. It's a good idea.
But wait, you might be thinking, what the hell are you doing exactly? And well, you are right, maybe I should explain first what I'm onto. I wanted to make a 2D top-down spaceship / base building or empire building game where you take control of a runaway AI and have to thrive while being forsaken in space. I took great inspiration from The Forest because of the, as I would call it, optional story. You can decide to save your son or just play free build for life. Additionally, I like the AI, which dynamically reacts to the player's action. I just love it when a metagame is present. Also, I'm a huge fan of the XCOM games. They are what I consider very difficult and punishing games, but this makes a successful mission so much more rewarding. And let's be real, strategy games are a banger in general.
Nice shot!
The XCOM base building part just feels super satisfying too. In addition, especially for XCOM 2, I just love how the game evolves during a run.
These guys make up the bulk of the Advent forces.
At first, everything is a test of strength, with a few tactical options for you and the enemy. With both sides using comparably primitive soldiers, your only hope is to outgun your opponents at all costs. Then after the first mission, your soldiers get different classes assigned, and this is where the game and the arms race essentially start, but you are not the only one who gets continuous upgrades.
I am sure you will find the results to be as intriguing as I do.
The game shifts from a purely conventional fighting style into something more advanced. Sectoids and Advent Commander will spawn, first being psionic aliens which have the potential to wreak havoc if faced unprepared, and second being more capable soldiers than the one we meet in the first mission.
Hostile forces spotted.
The introduction of the Viper will change the battlefield once more, as the enemy is now capable of dragging your soldiers across the map, immobilizing and poisoning them, so you better be prepared because their enormous dodge stats won't make it easy for your regular guns to hit this stupid worm properly. But enough said, I think you understand the concept. As time progresses, more powerful aliens get introduced, but what makes the game so good is that they are not just stronger in the sense of stats like health and damage, but that they also require significant strategy altering by the player, which is essentially how difficulty in a game should be designed.
Check this out.
So, how far am I? Yeah. Ship to customer. The best use case so far was a paint alternative for the creation of modern art, so a lot was left to be done to even call this a game. One key feature in my game is that the player can take control of any friendly characters all the time, while non-player controlled entities are driven by an AI. This is not only exclusive to spaceships, but also to vehicles and even buildings later on. But so far only spaceships exist, so I started working on ground forces and weapons. Eventually I laid the foundations for those and started to try to make them stick to surfaces. Everything went smoothly and without any problems worth mentioning. Even the weapon handling system was already decent by that point, and I had most of the systems in place, so it looks like everything was fine, right? No, because I originally had no concrete plan of what I wanted to do beforehand. The whole project spiraled into unextendable spaghetti code while the game wasn't even close to being even remotely done after a 1 year period, though with a lot of breaks in between. So I had to make the tough decision to just scrap everything and start all over again. This time, with the new motivation I get whenever I see an empty project, I started sweating again, but this time I kept everything way cleaner than before. If it wasn't for the tutorials of Pixter, everything would still look like I did it, and together with Lucy's tutorials on how to hill climb racing, I finally had something I could at least be partly proud of. But so far the background is just a single flat color, and to spice things up I wanted to have a more dynamic background, so I started messing with multi-meshes for hours in order to simulate asteroids flying by, completely oblivious to the fact that particles are a thing. Now add an additional foreground layer and we already have stuff going on. This, by the way, worked again on the first try without further complications. And while everything looked already way better than before, I wasn't still quite happy with the results, so I finally came up with a better UI theme and made a complete visual overhaul. Now the time had come. I could finally dedicate my energy towards creating an AI for all the so far lifeless ships floating around in space. Oh, what's that? Warnings and common errors with navigation? Oh, I'm sure none of those could possibly happen to me. One core behavior of the AI should be that it tries to avoid other agents. Luckily, Godot provides such functionality in the form of a navigation agent, where you just have to configure some fancy numbers like desired distances, etc. So how hard could that possibly be? Nothing is more beautiful than believing you finally got what you wanted, only to see your dreams shatter for the 100th time in a row. But after an endless time of suffering, I finally taught them the utter basics of their survival, how to walk, or better, cruise around. So now let's teach them to use weapons. I differentiate between two different types of weapons, ray and projectile weapons. While with ray weapons, you just have to make sure you don't fire while directly pointing at allies. With projectiles, you need to be multiple times more careful. The solution I came up with is, the AI checks a desirability factor for the usage of a gun. For example, what makes the use of a gun desirable is its maximum effective range and the distance to the target. For ray weapons, the effective distance is your configured value of the raycast range, but with projectile weapons there is more math involved, since you need to account for the firepower of the gun and the mass of the projectile. And keep in mind that projectile guns can load different projectiles. Additionally, the AI counts through enemies versus allies in its more or less what is a vision cone, which either increases or decreases the desirability of a use of a weapon. Here we can see how the AI detects no friendly in close proximity, plus the target is obviously within weapon range, so it decides to fire. Then there is one more factor called AI desperation. The higher the AI desperation is, the more likely it is going to use the weapon regardless of other factors decreasing weapons usage desirability. Considering that a character can have multiple different weapons equipped, it might decide to only make use of those which are not endangering any allies. Even though admittedly if my goal was for them not to endanger allies, I should have told them not to directly shoot at them.